To my daily updates, Graham here on a Friday morning. How is your day? How's your week been going? I have actually such a productive week. Kind of moved. I feel like I've done about 3 months worth of work in 1 week, which is really good. So taking a quick break now, having a cup of my favorite coffee. This is Blue Mountain coffee. If you've never tried Blue Mountain is from the Blue Mountains, I guess, of Jamaica. And lots of people say it's the very best coffee in the world, and apparently Sturbridge people, you can buy it at Shaw's, and it is really, really good. So grab a cup of coffee. What else is going on? Well, today, in about an hour, I'm going to do a live AMA, Ask Me Anything, and got some great questions. Questions about fasting, about violence in the Old Testament, some on finance. So I'm going to try and jump through about 5 questions there. What else is going on? I have a busy weekend. I'm in Martha's Vineyard today. Tomorrow I'm going to be speaking in Otis and Berkshire Christian Fellowship. Got a really great message there about glory and worship, kicking off my series for the month of October. Sunday morning I'm actually going to be leading worship in Sturbridge Worship Center, and again speaking on worship and glory there. Looking forward to that. Sunday afternoon, I will be with NEF in New Canaan, Connecticut, speaking there. Have a day off Monday. I'll be in my office Tuesday. Tuesday evening, I'm going to be in New Hampshire with my friends in Atkinson, New Hampshire. Great bunch there in the community hall in Atkinson at about 7:30 p.m. So you'd be welcome to join us on any of those. What else is going on? Well, I'm just putting together a missions trip to Wales for the month of November. So I'm going to be speaking in Liverpool, in Colwyn Bay, Penmaenmawr, on the island of Anglesey, and maybe in Manchester. So a kind of UK Wales tour there, just obeying some things the Lord told me to do there as well. So hey, I have a fundraiser as well going, started that yesterday for my trip to Wales. So if anybody is interested in just being part of our support team in sending, sometimes you can go, sometimes you can send. There's a great passage in 1 Samuel 30 where David's going off to war, and he divides his men into 2 camps, and he sends half of them to the battle, but half of them he says stay behind, look after the camp, feed the goats, whatever, one of them go, one of them send. And when he comes back with the spoils of war, if you will, the gold, the silver, whatever, he divides it equally between those who went and those who sent. And those who went got a little annoyed and said, hey, we went to battle and the other guy stayed behind. And David's like, hey, you can't go to battle without somebody sending you to battle. Same principle Paul lays out in Romans 10, where he says faith comes by hearing, hearing from the word comes from a preacher, but a preacher's got to go and a preacher's got to be sent. So if you're interested in joining the sending team there, I'll put a link below. If you go to gjm.org/Wales. There's no in there. gjm.org/Wales. That will send you to that fundraiser thing there. Good. Ministry school is going well. We have, I believe at the moment, 37 and a couple of people coming live in a couple of days. So 39, soon be 40 people following the ministry school as well. For those of you involved in that, we're just using the WhatsApp group as well to stimulate some conversation and mentoring there. And another thing I'll be doing in the month of mid-October, we'll be opening a midweek service in Sturbridge, and I'll be doing a seminar there twice a month, but I'll also be giving that away as a place to preach and teach, to learn to lead meetings and to lead worship. So we're throwing lots of people in the deep end with this stuff. Good. Well, that's about it. What have I been thinking and reading today? I was reading Ecclesiastes earlier. Not everybody's favorite book, but I love Ecclesiastes. There are some amazing gems in Ecclesiastes. One of my favorite verses literally in the whole Bible is in the book of Ecclesiastes. I believe it's Ecclesiastes 8 verse 10. Let me find that again. I've lost the reference to it here. But anyway, Ecclesiastes 8 says, where the word of a king is, there is power. Think about that for a minute. Where the word of a king is, there is power. And, it's obviously speaking about the authority a king carries. It's the principle that the centurion laid out in Matthew 8. He comes to Jesus and says, I'd like you to minister to one of my servants who's sick. Jesus says, I'll come and lay hands on him. The centurion says, no. I'm a man under authority and I have people under me. Yeah, I'm under Caesar's authority. I have my 100 men under me. And in a way, the centurion said, I've learned that authority works through words. I say go and he goes, come and he comes. And the centurion was saying, well, I have Roman jurisdiction over these men I lead, or people have over me. You have jurisdiction over life and death. You are the King of Kings. And he said to Jesus, if you'll give me the word, I know that my servant will be healed. Where the word of a king is, there is power. What's the limit or the parameters of the power of a word? Well, it would simply be this. It would be the parameters of the kingdom. The King of England would have power in England if we can get out of Europe. But, the parameters, the limits, the permissions of the power of a word is determined by the power of authority. But we have the words of the King of Kings. Where the word of a king is, there is power. Where the words of King Jesus are, there is power. And these are, come on, I want you to grab your Bible for a sec today and look at that. These are the words of a king. They may have been written down by others. They may have been scribed. Today I wrote something down and Siri did the writing for me, but they were my words. And I went over and corrected some of them afterwards. Thank you, Siri. The Lord may have used Solomon to write these things, and Paul and Peter and Isaiah and Moses and others, but these are the words of a king. Yeah, the words of a king. There's a verse where Nehemiah, he's been sent by King Xerxes, who inherited the rule of Babylon and the Medo-Persian Empire. And in a way, Nehemiah comes to Israel and even the enemies of Israel, and he says, I have the words of a king. The words of a king were behind me. I am here because of the decree of a king. And I just want to drop that thought on your lap today, that you have the words of a king. The words of a king are for you and not against you. But we need to know the words of a king. We need to speak them. We at times need to enforce them. They're not automatic. Just because the king said them, the king has enemies. The king has Sanballats, Tobiah, Geshems, if you look at the book of Nehemiah, those who try to hinder the application, the outworking of the words of the king. And at times we need to stand on the words of a king. If you've received a prophetic word that was just a really true prophetic word, you have the words of a king. You can hold those up. Paul wrote to Timothy and he said, Timothy, take your prophecies off of the fridge door, off the back page of your Bible, and fight a good fight with the with the words that were spoken over you. The words spoken over you are words against the enemy. What God says to us, God says against our enemies and his enemies. So today, make much of the words of a king, because there's power within them. Great. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Again, if you're new to my YouTube channel, why not hit the red subscribe button down there. Check out some of the links below, especially our email newsletter. I'll be sending one out tomorrow morning. So I'd love to have you on that. We give a free gift to everybody who joins up for that. Good. I'll also be doing some videos today. Hey, I'd really appreciate your help with this as well. I was praying about this. I want to do some really simple how-to videos. I'll be recording a video as soon as I finish this on how to become a Christian. I mean, how simple is that? But how to become a Christian. But some people need to hear that. People actually search for those things on Google, on YouTube, and wouldn't it be great if I can take 5 minutes, and when we've been there 10,000 years, somebody's there because they watched that video, but also somebody's there because they shared it. It's like the sending principle. Sometimes just clicking the share button, posting it on Facebook, Twitter, whatever you're on, is the equivalent of sending. You're sending the messenger, but you're sending the words of a king, Selah.